I'm Haley Taylor, and you're listening to the Rough Draft Diaries. We're headed back to the theater world on this episode of the Rough Draft Diaries.
My name is Megan Aherne, and I am a video production teacher at Toledo School for the Arts. I'm the manager at Handmade Toledo. I'm the secretary for the board of Village on Adams.
Chatting with Megan was a lot of fun. She has a giggly, upbeat personality, which I'm sure you'll notice, and she has a palpable passion for the arts. It's interesting, though, in her introduction, she didn't mention one of the main outlets and really the common denominator between all of her work, the theater.
I started doing a lot of stage management, and then I started performing, and then I just really sunk into directing. Yeah, I'm definitely a director.
We'll talk more about Megan's directing in just a moment, but first, how she even got to the theater world in the first place. Because she was far from it starting out. She actually wanted to be a lawyer, and when she eventually did go to school at the University of Toledo, she started studying secondary English education. She had been doing that for 3 years. Then she took a theater class, and all of a sudden completely changed her major.
When I had started the theater program, I was in my 4th year of college without having a lot of that theater experience beforehand that most people had been working up to since they were freshmen. So I was incredibly insecure, and I was just what am I doing here? And I was taking this really difficult design class, and I had a really lovely professor who was seeing my work, and she was like, you need to keep doing this. I don't know if you see what I see, but don't stop. And I was kind of like, if you say so. And I just kept going, and I just kind of dabbled in everything because I really didn't know who I was or what I wanted or really what I was good at or anything. So I just kind of did everything.
Megan mentioned majority of the reason she never pursued a career in the arts was because no one ever told her it was a viable option, that you could create a career out of it. And yet when she graduated from University of Toledo, she already had a job, a position with the Glass City Theater Collective.
And I became assistant artistic director of the company. I directed The American Dream and The Sandbox, which are 2 of my favorite one-acts in the world. We were also doing some original immersive horror theater at various locations within the city, not informal theaters at all. Those were the most fun. For sure, those were the most fun.
Throughout her career, Megan has created or worked on 40 different productions throughout the area, and they weren't all through the Glass City Theater Collective. She also started working part-time as a theater director at the Toledo School for the Arts. Recently, though, that position has changed, which has caused many positive but challenging moments. You see, Megan had to temporarily quit theater to get her master's, to get that teaching degree to become a full-time video production teacher at TSA. But quitting theater was much harder than she thought.
Oh my God. It was literally, sometimes I'll say that it was the worst decision I ever made, knowing that I made a really good decision for my future. But I don't know, I'm really passionate about theater. It's my jam. It's what I love to do. And it was really hard to let it go.
One of the positives coming out of those challenging moments was Megan's realization of how much she missed theater. It had been 4 years since she had been in a production, since she had left Glass City to go full-time at TSA. And she wanted to jump back in, but she didn't know exactly how. So she thought about creating her own theater company and naming it the Velvet Knife. Now, it's really early days in production. She's still kind of fundraising to produce the whole thing, but Megan feels pretty happy about it.
I'm really just riding the wave. I am so much flying by the seat of my pants. It's scary but exhilarating, and I kind of just know I'll be fine. I can only kind of do so much right now, but I'm fine with baby steps. I'm good with it. Taking my time.
I think Megan is so relaxed because multiple times throughout the interview, she mentioned how she's kind of fallen into this job, fallen into studying it at university, falling into directing for the first time, and now she's falling into running her own theater company. Falling into something never meant that she wasn't in control of what she wanted to do. But she did wish she had more control when she was younger, that she could have known that theater was a viable option. And she hopes the next generation understands that.
And as far as pursuing a career in the arts, I think that starving artist stuff is bull. And I think it is so detrimental to the pursuit of the arts, which is vital to our growth, especially for adolescents who are trying to understand themselves, who are developing emotional intelligence, who need to have empathy, who need to understand different cultures. And the arts give you that, especially theater. You know, when you get that opportunity to literally step into someone else's shoes and dive into another's lived experience. That's so important, and we do that at TSA. That's why I'm still at TSA. You know, I really think that's like the most important thing that I could be doing for my community. And I would tell my 6th graders all of the time, if you walk out of here and you're more confident than you were walking in, I've done my job. Period.
I'm Haley Taylor, and thanks for listening to this episode of the Rough Draft Diaries.